Hey guys, coming around for the highly anticipated return of the X-Files. I'm gonna say season 10, episode 1, My Struggle. Now, the reason I say season 10 is because they're basically just continuing the series. It's not a movie and it's not called anything else, so I'm just gonna call it season 10. Um, I've never seen a single episode of this show, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. Going into this, I hadn't seen a single episode, so I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. The reason I didn't binge the show, because I did want to, and I was planning on doing it, but I just didn't think I'd have the time. Other things got in the way, and I knew I would not have time to binge it, so I figured, all right, I won't watch it, but I really wanted to watch it. I didn't want to miss out on this, and I told myself, okay, I'm gonna watch it. And I have to say, not knowing a lot, I thought was honestly fine because I really love this premiere. I have to say, I thought this was a very solid first episode, and I also thought they basically gave us everything we need to know. If you hadn't seen the show before, I think they did a very good job with that, and I definitely really enjoyed that because, like I said, I hadn't seen a single episode. But for the first episode I've seen the show, I'm really satisfied, and I know some people were let down by this premiere. There were definitely some people that didn't love everything that happened here, but hey, I say they're going to take their time with it. It's 6 episodes, so definitely give it some time, and that's one of the reasons I'm watching it because it's only 6 episodes, and that's perfectly fine for me. I hope they do more because I really enjoy this premiere, but let's just get into this episode because I really enjoyed it overall. And like I said, I think something that they did very well with is the opening monologue because they basically tell us everything we need to know. We see Mulder, we hear Mulder, he's introducing himself, talking about when his sister disappeared when she was 12 years old, when he believed it to be an alien abduction. He spoke about his work on exploring aliens, the existence of extraterrestrials for the FBI and a department known as the X-Files, and he says that the X-Files had been closed, but his personal obsession did not cease, and we see that Mulder, in a voiceover, Mulder continues to talk about all the reported UFO sightings over the years and the idea of government cover-ups. Mulder then instructs us to ask, are we truly alone or are we being lied to? And I thought that was a very good way to start things out, just basically introducing us to Mulder and how he's obsessed with aliens and how he doesn't know if they're still out there or not, and that definitely really did interest me. And I really feel just from that, I got the basis of the show. I mean, you have Mulder, who clearly still believes in aliens, but Scully necessarily doesn't. We'll get into Scully in a second. Let me just say that they did not change the intro at all. You can definitely tell it looks like a 90s intro, and I was fine with that. And I understand why they didn't change it. Obviously, fans would be very upset if they did that, but I thought it was really cool to see those credits, and I definitely really enjoyed that. And in the next scene, a bus is driving through high desert in New Mexico, and clearly this is meant to be a scene from many years ago, perhaps in the 1940s or 50s. We see two men are on the bus, one some kind of agent and the other a professor. They pull up to a crashed UFO, and we don't know what this is about, and I like the uncertainty here. There's a lot of like, oh, what's going on here? I really want to see what this is about. So we then see that Scully is heading into surgery when she gets an emergency phone call from Skinner, and of course, Scully, you can tell, really has not been into this for a while. You can definitely tell that since the X-Files is closed, she's kind of moved on with her life. Mulder really doesn't seem like he has. It seems like he still is fixated on this obsession. And the show then cuts to Mulder watching Obama on Jimmy Kimmel. Mulder's on the phone with Scully, who tells him that Skinner's looking for him. A man named Tad O'Malley talks about UFO conspiracies on his TV show Truth Squad, and he wants to meet with him, and he agrees as long as Scully goes with him. He will not do it without Scully, and I definitely really like seeing that because just in this first episode, you can tell that Scully and Mulder have been through a lot. They've been working together. They haven't really probably seen each other in a while, and it's clear that there was some sort of romance there. And I know most people say, oh, it's platonic, but I really felt like there was some sort of a romance there, and they're definitely going to get into that as this goes on. So O'Malley shows up and requests that the duo meet with him in his limo rather than the street, and basically O'Malley wants Scully and Mulder to help to, which by the way, O'Malley was um, played by Joel McHale, who I thought was good here. It was cool to see him in a serious role and not just being funny because we're so used to him being the funny guy. I kind of like seeing him doing something serious. I thought he did a very good job here. O'Malley wants Scully and Mulder help to unlock one of the biggest conspiracies the world has ever seen. So they pull up to a home in the middle of nowhere, and a girl named Savetta answers, very important to this plot. And she says that Mulder interviewed her when she was a little girl after her first abduction, and she shows the duo her scoop like scars from the aliens and reveals that the aliens made her pregnant a number of times, and they took the unborn children before they were born. She confesses that she's convinced that she has alien DNA for sure. And of course, they don't actually know if she has it, but she is convinced that she has it. And we then flash back to the professor at the UFO site as he witnesses the shooting of an actual alien. Really crazy stuff there. I mean, we know these aliens are out there, but definitely really crazy stuff. So Scully tests Savetta's DNA, and Savetta reveals that she knows things, and she says that Scully and Mulder were together in the past. And definitely, I really like this scene because it's clear that this is something that Scully has thought about but hasn't really gone into. And she says that Mulder was depressed and that his depression is what killed their relationship. And definitely, she wanted to have a genuine relation with Mulder, but because he was so depressed and fixated on this alien thing, they really couldn't. And Savetta also says that Scully and Mulder have a child together, and apparently, yeah, Mulder and Scully definitely had a baby. And I believe we did see this in the show, but they never specifically said if it was their baby, and that's definitely something that we're gonna get into, and I definitely am very interested in seeing where that's going to go because that is definitely something that they're going to touch upon. So, just reintroducing us to Scully and Mulder, I thought they did a very good job with this, and I like that it was slow. I like that these details weren't all at the same time. Like, they definitely tried to take their time here to show this, main story play out and show why Scully and Mulder get involved with it, which I definitely really like seeing. Also, I really love the scene where we do see Scully and Mulder first meeting up. I definitely really like that, and how he said that they're done with the X File investigations. I mean, because they're convinced that they're done with it. They haven't done it in a while. So in the next scene, O'Malley then brings Mulder to a warehouse to see an ARV, an alien replica vehicle, and it runs on free energy that the government had apparently been aware of since the 1940s. And O'Malley then shows that the ARV can disappear, which is very strange as to why it can disappear. And we then go back to the shot alien that the professor has decided to try to bring back to life. And O'Malley then visits Scully at work as she talks about genetic disorder where children are born without ears. And she says that it is unrelated to the X Files. It has nothing to do with that. And O'Malley then tells Scully that the reason for his visit is because he wanted to see her again. He wants to see, if she can help them out. And because, he doesn't know if this is an alien thing, but he thinks that they could be of service to him. So we next see Mulder visiting Savetta again. He asks her about her unborn babies being taken, and he assures her that anything she tells him, he can keep between them. And Savetta reveals that she's afraid and believes that it wasn't the aliens that took their babies. She believes that they were actual men who took her children. And she says that she was afraid that they would kill her if she ever revealed what they did. Was it the government who was taking her kids, or was it aliens? And that's something that's very good here, is that they really gave us that possibility of maybe it's not aliens, maybe it's actually children that did it. And this really gets Mulder to think because, he's been convinced that it's been aliens. And Mulder then calls Scully as she's in the car with O'Malley enjoying what looks like a little date. Honestly, it looks like these two are on a date. And Mulder then tells Scully that Savetta is the key to everything, and he believes that they've been lied to about everything they've ever known, that maybe there aren't aliens out there. And this was definitely very interesting, and it really showed why this is important. I mean, technology has changed from then till now, so definitely there could have been a mix up here, and Mulder is convinced that he's wrong. And Mulder then visits Skinner to take him to the X Files, but the files have disappeared, and he tells Skinner that he's owed answers. And Skinner's angry, but he says that he's been looking out for Mulder. And Skinner says that a lot has changed since the 9/11 attacks, which, if you guys know, that's basically the reason why they stopped, because of the 9/11 attacks. And a lot has changed since then, definitely. Technology has changed. Just look at the world from then till now. A lot has changed since then. I definitely really like seeing that. And he tells Mulder to do something about it, that if he really wants to make a change, he needs to do something about himself. And when Scully gets results back from the DNA test, she says that she wants them retested. She doesn't know if she doesn't think these tests are real. She needs another test because she's convinced that this could be aliens. And Mulder then believes that alien technology has been used against them by the government over the years. And Scully then visits Mulder, and we get this really intense scene here. Mulder tries to convince her to be on board. Scully tells him that he is on dangerous grounds as he tells her that Savette is the key. O'Malley pulls up behind Scully, who's trying to leave, and they all encourage Scully to stay. They tell Scully that the government hopes to use alien technology to eventually take over the world, and they said that what will seem like a terrorist attack on America or an alien invasion will be the takeover. And Scully says that saying these things is borderline treason, and she then reveals that Savetta has no evidence of alien DNA, and she's convinced that there is no aliens. I'm pretty sure at least, the way this is going, Mulder's convinced that there's aliens, but Scully is not so sure. She doesn't really think that there are aliens, and definitely the way they're setting that up, I think, is very interesting. So the next day, Savetta tells the media that Tad O'Malley was making her say lies, putting ideas in her head, and you don't know if she's telling the truth here. You don't know if she's just trying to shut this down because she doesn't want to sound crazy, or if he genuinely was just putting ideas into her head. And I definitely like seeing that. So Mulder and O'Malley then realize that the government got to her, and they break into where the ARV is and blow it up. And Savetta is nowhere to be found. She's kind of just fleed. And when Scully tries to look up O'Malley's TV show online, the website's been taken down. So clearly the government was after them. The government forced them to remove this website, and she then makes her way to the car in the parking garage, finds the words "Don't give up" on her car. Now, don't give up, I'm pretty sure this is connected to don't give up on the fact that there could be aliens. Don't give up on this conspiracy. Continue what you're doing because there very well could be aliens out there, and I definitely really thought that was interesting. So Mulder then approaches her in the garage, and Scully reveals that the DNA tests have come back positive for both Savetta and herself. And she then receives an urgent text message from Skinner to meet, and basically that's going to be very important because now we know that they are in fact reopening the X Files. And in the next scene, Savetta is driving. Her car suddenly dies. Suddenly, this green light beam from a spaceship pierces down into her car. As she tries to escape the vehicle, it just explodes. I don't know how it exploded, but it exploded. I don't really know what they're trying to show here, that maybe it was aliens and she was lying, but clearly she tried to escape and her vehicle exploded. Really crazy stuff there. And then the ending was awesome. I love the way that this ended, really showed the direction we're going to go in, and the ending here, this was just awesome. We see the Smoking Man, who, if you don't know who the Smoking Man is, he basically is the main antagonist of the show. He's then shown saying that there's a small problem. They've reopened the X Files, and that's how the episode ends. So, overall, guys, not a lot to talk about in this episode, but I thought this was a really solid premiere. It really showed why they need to reopen the X Files because a lot's changed. They could very well be wrong. And a lot of questions are definitely going to come up with Mulder and Scully. First of all, this child they had together, they're definitely going to explore this at some point. I'm interested in seeing really what's going on there. But let's talk about the thing that I think makes the show so great. Because, of course, this is the first episode I watched. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, without a doubt, are definitely loving the hell out of making this. I mean, you can tell that they're right back there, and it doesn't feel like this is just them trying to rehash. That's not what it seems like. This does not seem like a rehashing. This feels like something that needed to happen, and it kind of makes sense why it happened now. Because, now, like I said, technology's changed. This feels like something that Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny really wanted to do. They wanted to play these roles of Mulder and Scully again, and it's great to see that because I think now is the perfect time to continue the show. Definitely it's perfect time to do that. So I will say that right off the bat. That was really great. I thought Joel McHale was really great here. But let's talk about the fact that they've reopened the X-Files. What is going to happen with them reopening the X-Files? Obviously, the Smoking Man knows they did that. He's definitely going to get to them. We'll have to see what happens there. That definitely is going to get very interesting. As far as this child with Mulder and Scully, are they going to meet up with this child? I mean, it's clear that this child is not really in their life, and this is something that I'm guessing Scully put it up for adoption or something like that. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen the show, so I can't say that. But and I know that's kind of dumbfounded that I didn't do that. But again, guys, I wasn't planning on watching this, but I wanted to go into it, just seeing if I like it. And like I said, obviously, I really do like it. Is Mulder right about these aliens? Are there aliens out there? I mean, I feel like that's a question that's never going to get answered because that's kind of like the big question of the show. But I think it's clear that there definitely is something out there, and Mulder should not think he's crazy. There definitely is something out there, and Mulder is definitely onto something with that. And I definitely think they showed that very, very well. That Mulder is definitely, like I said, onto something, and he shouldn't think that he's crazy for that. So that definitely is going to be very interesting. But overall, guys, I'm really looking forward to this show. There wasn't a whole lot to say about this first episode because it was pretty straightforward. It definitely felt like a prologue, honestly. That's what this felt like. This felt like here's why we need to reopen the X Files, and I thought it was a good reason as to why they're going to reopen the X Files and what's going to happen there because I wanted a good reason. I didn't just want them to do this show for the hell of it. And I think it was a good reason as to why they're reopening the X Files and why they need to get back there. But we'll have to see what happens with that. Overall, guys, let me know what you guys saw this first episode. I know there were a lot of people disappointed by this first episode, but I overall really did enjoy it. I thought there was some really great stuff put in here. And honestly, I really think they did a great job with reintroducing us to this story because for someone like me that's never really seen this show before and hasn't, really spent all this time with these characters, I think they did a very good job as you could just go into this not watching the show before. I think they did that very well here. I mean, you should have some background knowledge. I knew just a little bit of background knowledge here and there, not too much, but definitely I knew the basis of what was going on. That's why it worked for me. Um, so definitely it might not work for everyone, but for me that's why it worked. But over guys, let me know if you guys saw this premiere. I will see you guys. I cannot wait for the second episode. I will definitely be watching tomorrow, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the series premiere of Lucifer, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.